Well, Mr. Podar, if you could tell us, I was just going through the Bombay Stock Exchange release, and I think some of your plants have been shut down. But, y'all are primarily into packaging of FMCG products. If you could clarify that point, and how much of your revenues are dependent on the FMCG, sector on the whole? And have you all made any kind of request to the authorities to reopen?
Yeah, so yes, majority of what we sell goes for FMCG, and it goes for important products like food processing, soap, hand sanitizers, and so on. And we had requested Director of Industries a couple of days back, and we did not get the approval at that stage. But yesterday there are a couple of more clarifications which have come from the government, which allows the continuous industries, and we are a continuous industry, and and they have also allowed the ancillaries to food processing. So we are again made a detailed letter today to the government, and we are going to submit it today, requesting them that if we can start the plants with minimal manpower and ensuring that we take best care of our people, because that is obviously the most important thing. So we are going to send a letter to Director of Industries requesting them for the approval.
Mr. Podar, take your point. I think this is such a crisis of this magnitude that at times the management or the authorities only have that much bandwidth, and they didn't realize that packaging is as essential as keeping FMCG manufacturing running as well. Let me get in Mr. Bhatia. Mr. Bhatia, what proportion of your products go to the FMCG sector, or maybe even to the medical sector, pharmaceuticals, in terms of packaging requirements? And what is the status at your end? Any communication from the government with respect to operations, open or shut?
Predominantly, we are in food and pharma packaging. So, even more than 90% of our business is with these two segments. And, for our plants, we've got permission to operate them, and so the plants are operating currently. There are few down the line hiccups, like while the plants are operating, but the transportation is becoming sort of bottleneck, because down the line, when the things are the directions are not very clear, so the trucks are stopped, and then so that's creating a bit of a challenge now. But I think next 1 or 2 days that will also get resolved. But happy to confirm that the plants are operating both India and internationally, and we supporting the food only during this period, and pharma.
Okay, fantastic. That's excellent to know, sir, that you've already got the permission. So at least you're not in the lockdown. You are being treated as an essential service. My question now is this. I understand the transportation problems, and I think as the message goes down, percolates down, hopefully those transportation glitches should be cleared up. My next question is this. At what capacity utilization levels are your plants currently running? Do you have the wherewithal to scale up even more? And then what about your own supply chain? The chains are getting broken. So what about your own inputs and, feeding the plants continuously?
So all the plants are operating at, a higher capacity utilization, particularly the offshore plant. The India plant is again, operating at the maximum capacity. But the offshore plants, even if there were a few, lesser capacity utilization earlier, there are demands from one of the, your larger converters, packaging companies around the globe that, they want more material, given that there is a huge demand in the offshore market. Mm-hmm. So I think we have, there's a time when we are looking at, a much higher level of capacity utilization across all our plants. India, I think the transportation problems need to be sorted out. So we've written to Secretary, Ministry of Transport. We've taken the matter through the chambers, and hopefully in next 1 or 2 days, then as the clarity emerges, the dispatches bottlenecks get over. And that's key, because, if there is a bottleneck around there, so, the supply chain gets disrupted. So, then we will have to reevaluate the situation.
So for how many days are you facing this problem in terms of the supply chain and transportation?
Yesterday and today. So yesterday itself we've written, and let's see, how the things pan out.
And what about your international operations? You have some exports as well. So could you quantify it as a percentage of your total sales? And has that stopped totally?
So we do, from India, we do about $90 million worth of exports from here. So exports are robust. So we yesterday also we shipped some material, and so to the ports and all that, things are still better. But the local transportation within, if some of the Nestle's or P&G or others require material, so that is becoming a bit of sort of an issue. Local transport, but export transportation is happening.